I loved it from start to finish.
This was horrible. Horrible.
And it was an awful movie. So I gotta give it the quick one.
Sure.
You hated it? You hated it?
Oh, not a movie for me.
I've learned early on Netflix and Phil not to ever say that. Yeah, try to start low.
We didn't learn that early on.
You want to slurp up the sauce?
Pass sauce.
Alfredo mushroom.
Alfredo mushroom.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
some good sauce. That's half tempting, but you know.
Wait, half tempting?
Yeah,
What half?
Alright. It's half tempted, but I'm not anymore.
I'll do that.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Netflix and Fail episode.
Nap it up.
Yeah, it's been a while for us, but not for them. You know, it's just a month ago.
Right.
I am the rebooted Travis now.
I am the recharged Dylan Muss.
I am the Child's Play Taylor Fields. You ruined it.
I am the bride of Chucky, Emily Ross.
You ruined it too. Me and Dylan had a good thing going with the
He messed it
something.
up before I did.
I didn't think of something nice. No, just pick something that works. I don't know.
Well, before we get into it, I have three things quickly to promote.
Oh, three things, eh?
Yeah, that's what we do nowadays. The people need to find us in the search bar, right, Taylor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. So anyways, this Saturday is Geek Mania, finally. It's over 2 hours. It's almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 matches, 2 titles we decide. It is an extravaganza of video games. We got Rocket League, we got Pokken, we got Sonic Adventures, we got, what else did you guys play? Battlefront, bunch of other stuff. There's a Madden appearance, so check it out this Saturday. It's lots of fun. It's going to be live on YouTube. November 4th, we're going to be pumping this probably every podcast, is our 24-hour charity stream for Extra Life. All the funds we raise from now until then are going towards the BC Children's Hospital. We have a goal of $500 because we want to hit that and, give something that's somewhat lofty. But also, Dylan, can you tell them what's going to happen if we hit that goal?
Is that at $500? At $500, I will shave my head live on
Seriously?
stream.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
You were there when we talked about it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because like, what could we do for goals? And
I'm gonna let it grow nice and luscious the next month.
I thought he was kidding. Wow, good for you.
Yeah, and we'll do it live on the stream. So whether it's $1, $5, $10, $50, please donate because it's going towards a good cause. But also, you want to see Dylan Muss bald,
Exactly, you sure do.
Yeah, you sure do.
No one else has seen that before, so you can be the first.
I think at one point you were maybe bald, but we didn't film at that point, so it's all new to them. So
You were maybe bald.
The last time I was bald was when I was a baby. So.
Maybe.
Whatever. This Friday is our Blade Runner review. It's gonna be myself, Taylor, and I know Tyler, Dylan. I think that's about it. But we'll be doing that live on Friday. If you haven't heard, every Friday is the main show now. So every Friday is when we will be doing our live show on YouTube. I literally just said that. And Saturday mornings when you get the podcast. So
Roger that.
Other than that, I want to give a big shout out to the people in Las Vegas and the tragedy that happened there because I look at statistics quite a bit. And we actually have a fair amount of listeners there. So anyone that's affected, we're sending our thoughts out there. And whether you live there or whether you don't, we hope you can listen to us be idiots for an hour and take your mind off some stuff. So, which leads us to being idiotic. We are reviewing Cult of Chucky. Usually with Netflix and Fail, what would the theme of the show? What is the gimmick of the show?
Sure, the gimmick, yeah.
Usually what we do is we pick a movie on my Netflix that has failed and we see and we watch and see if it actually deserves a bad grade or not. Because a fail is never a good thing,
Exactly.
But there's 2 franchises I guess we're making exceptions for. One, Adam Sandler, but most of the time those are always fails, so we kind of get what we're doing. But because Halloween wanted to do something special and it came to Netflix the same day it released on DVD, we're doing Cult of Chucky. So we don't know if it's a fail or not, but judging by
it's kind of hard to tell anyway with Netflix's system.
It's a Chucky film.
Yeah, and Netflix's new system, even with films being there for a while, you never really know. You
never really know.
You watch one thing, it's like everything. If you watch one sports documentary, every sports documentary is a 95% oh, you'll love this. So, Dylan must start. What do you have any experience with Chucky, and what are your thoughts? You've seen a trailer for this.
Well, my experience is quite limited. I've, seen a few minutes here or there on TV over the years, but I've never sat down and watched a full movie. Mostly because I always thought it looked really stupid. Honestly, that's the biggest reason why. So I don't really I know there's a doll who kills people, but that's pretty much as I know.
His name is Chucky.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't actually remember the trailer for this either, so I'm going in completely blind. I have no idea where the story was or where it's taking me. Hopefully there's some more depth to it. You know, I was surprised when we started watching Saw that there's actually more to it than just like...
I wouldn't say that.
Well,
no, for Chucky, I mean, like, don't get your hopes up with the death part.
Well, you know, maybe I will. Maybe I'll find something that you never saw.
Fair enough.
And maybe it'll be one of the greatest stories I've seen all year.
Did you want a rundown of anything from the past as far as Chucky? Like an origin, a quick origin?
Well, because I hear, as per Taylor, that this is the second in a reboot series. So
no, don't listen
Not
to
really.
Taylor. Taylor brought over Curse of Chucky. He's like, this is the reboot, even though it has a bunch
I was
of
trying to
characters.
correct myself.
Oh, whatever. So, we won't get into all the sequels, but the first one was there was a criminal who was into voodoo. These cops had him dead to rights.
Yeah.
He was in a toy store and he put his soul into a doll.
Right.
And then...
So is there any characters in this movie that I need to know of then?
The one character... Well, there's two. There's one from this one, right? This Curse of Chucky, I believe. And then there's another one. I think they'll be the two main ones. The man is the actual OG kid that was in the first Child's Play who got the Chucky, the good guy
The
dolls.
OG kid.
Yeah, yeah. And the whole theme is always Chucky's been trying to get out of the doll into someone's body. But a few movies ago, he decided he just likes living as a doll and he just kills people now. So there's
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, yeah. So he just kind of, and he's had kids, he's gotten married, the whole shebang. So
Oh, wow.
I would say this last one, The Curse of Chucky, went a bit more of the horror vibe again. It kind of got a little tongue in cheek as well. So I don't know what we're gonna get with Cult of Chucky, but Taylor Field, you're a huge Chucky fan. Where does he rank in your echelon with your Michael Myers, your Freddy, your Jason?
He's like...
I feel like every time we talk, you have a new favorite. You're like, oh, Michael's my favorite. Oh,
Michael-
Chucky's my favorite.
no,
Oh, Jason's my favorite.
Michael
All you don't get along
Myers-
to is Freddy, and he's the best one.
Michael Myers is definitely up there. He's gotta be my... I love watching the movies. You know, he's one of my favorites. But you know, when you got Chucky and Leprechaun, they're just riding up the rear. They're so
Riding up
hilarious.
the rear.
Riding at the rear?
So does that mean they're your least favorite?
No, they're coming
Yeah,
up
riding up
be
the
the
rear.
the rear of Halloween. You know, they're right up there with Friday.
You didn't
No,
say how
no.
the rear.
We're talking about the ranking of like what one you like the most. So if something's riding up the rear, it'd be the worst. It'd be at the bottom.
I meant like,
It'd
okay,
be riding
you
at
have
the
Halloween
bottom.
at the top, and then coming up from the bottom is like... Never mind. Jesus.
So good to be doing Netflix and fan.
Oh, okay. You know, I like Chucky a lot. I think
These
you
are
know,
all yours. If
they're-
you're watching,
they're
if you're not
online.
watching, he has Child's Play 1, 3, and
And
Curse of
Curse.
Chucky.
I'm
Are
trying
these
to
the
get
only
2.
3 you have?
These are the only 3 I have. I'm
So
trying
you
to get number
sporadically
2.
jump 2, and then you jump 4, and then you jump Bride and Seed. Like what's
4
going on? You're missing.
4, Seed and Bride. I don't care much for those ones. I like the
Oh.
original 3, and then I like Curse of Chucky.
You like the original 3, but there's no 2 in there.
I can't
Yikes.
find it on DVD. I'm trying to track it down.
I wonder how you check down movies nowadays.
Well, I know, online internet stuff. But yeah, so you know, I'm
Internet.
me and Chucky, we got like a long history together. I remember when I was first getting into horror movies when I was little, and I walked into my local video rental store, and there would be
How old were you?
Blockbuster.
How old were you? You said you were just getting into, so I
just
assumed you were
getting
a
horror
child.
movies. I think I was just hitting my double digits, like 11 and 12. But I walk in, and there's the horror movie shelf, and there'd be Chucky, this terrifying doll, and that's what ruined it for me. I couldn't handle dolls in my room. I couldn't handle dolls in my house, and it terrified me for the longest time. And finally,
Sounds crippling.
when I got to be about like 16 or 17 years old, I was like, you know what? I'm
fucking
done
love
with this
dolls.
doll. And my
I
dad
am a
always
doll.
told me, you know, it's just a fucking doll. You just drop kick the damn thing and it's gone. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take that
Good
with
advice,
me forever.
Dad.
And
His dad is also a criminal who did not buy a certain meal at the Dutch, by the way. So.
Oh,
but
2003, never forget.
I've watched the movies, and you know, I'm sold. Chucky, he's terrifying. He's funny. Like I love his catchphrases.
Would you say he's a badass?
He can be a badass. He can.
I've never understood how you like Chucky but not Freddy, because Freddy's the exact same thing as far as quips, and because I remember you're like, oh, I don't like Freddy because he's too funny. Chucky is like worse than Freddy.
No, but he's like a serious, innocent funny.
Oh, okay. You can also get Child's Play on Amazon for $13.97 right now, Canadian.
$13.97. How much is the shipping?
Free shipping.
Free shipping.
Over $35.
Is it used?
What? It's new.
It's new.
So it might be worth
How
it.
much is shipping?
What? I don't know. I just wanted to give you the fucking price, man. Come on, you can look in that yourself. You got it on the internet.
Only 4 left in stock. You better hurry up.
4. Oh my god.
Emily, what? First of all, you don't really like horror movies to begin
No,
with, so
not really.
anytime we watch these, you don't have much experience. But what are your experience with Child's Play or Chucky at all?
I think you made me watch one or two.
I think
a
it's
few
I
of them.
decided to watch them. I don't
Yeah.
think I made you.
I don't think I paid too much attention either, because I remember the premise of he put his soul into the body, and I remember there's a teacher dies in a closet, and I remember
rulers.
certain little
By
things.
rulers.
And then I remember the bride doll. She
Tiffany.
was also evil. That's her name, Tiffany. She was also evil, right?
Yeah, played
Yeah.
by the great Jennifer Tilly.
Sure. And so I remember bits and pieces. Not my favorite.
What is your favorite horror movie, though? What type of horror movie do you like? Because when you say not your favorite, I don't know if I've ever heard that this one's my favorite horror movie. As someone that's known you for quite a while.
I don't actually know what
There
my
you go.
favorite would be, but I do
It could be this.
enjoy
It could be this.
the first Halloween.
Mm.
I enjoy that one a lot. I enjoy Trick or Treat a lot. Those are ones we have to watch every year. I enjoy It, actually. The original.
The
was
original.
I love the original.
Dylan hates the original.
I know, I heard you hate it. But I love the original. I really like the new one as well, but I think I still like the original better.
Of It?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I
what the
love it.
fuck?
I'm a big Tim Curry fan, so.
It's so good.
Anyways,
Check out It review.
So those would probably be my favorite horror movies that I can think of off the top of my head.
Not
Like-
Chucky.
No,
Not Chucky.
not really.
What is it that puts him off? Like, you share the same hair color, so that's a good thing, you know. I'm
Wow.
joking.
I think he's really cheesy,
Mm.
over the top cheesy, and I guess jump scares and stuff are scary, but I don't remember being afraid of him being a doll.
I think it's the more
Not at all.
psychological of it's the reverse Toy Story. Your dolls could be doing this to you.
Yeah, but that even watching those that didn't ever scare me. I wasn't worried oh my gosh, that stuffed animal's gonna jump out and get me now.
You
know
should be.
that doesn't worry me.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
Not
what are
that
you
scary.
are you expecting a pass or a fail? Because if you're new to the show, what we do,
I'm expecting a fail.
we originally did a star rating. You can't give half stars, so we have kept that, even though Netflix changed their rating to
Yeah.
just thumb up, thumb down. But we give it a 1 to 5 stars, has to be a solid star, and then a thumb up and thumb down. So you're expecting a fail.
I am, because I don't think I liked any of the ones that I have seen.
You don't even think
Enough
it could
to
be
pass them.
bad good?
It could be bad good,
Yeah.
it could be funny.
Mm.
We'll see though.
Yeah, because we've only had one
I
pass
don't
on the
think
show, ladies and
I don't
gentlemen.
remember if I
What
saw
we've
a
learned on the
trailer
show
for
is that
this
it's hard to
either.
be bad good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Taylor, pass or fail?
Well, not according to you guys. I never seen it.
You know, I mean,
It was one Adam Sandler. We reviewed 3. We passed 1. That's not that bad.
out of all the other Chucky movies I've seen, there are a lot of fails. I'm not gonna lie. But you know,
really hold this series.
this is definitely. I'm gonna be really deciphering and decoding this movie, and I'm really
Deciphering.
gonna be.
There's nothing. It's not Saw. He just kills people. There's nothing to decide.
Hey, you,
No,
you
but
haven't
the-
seen this
The
movie
Curse
yet,
of
man.
Chucky really dives into a little bit of his origin, that
Oh.
goes before the first film. So you know,
that
I'm really
doesn't mean
curious.
you have to. It doesn't mean there's these clues and whatnot. It's you just watch
There
it.
could be. They could be foreshadowing the next 5 Chucky films in this
Yeah.
for all we know.
Wow.
Have you seen this movie already, Travis? I
No,
feel like
I
you might have
haven't.
watched it
I
this morning.
wish.
You couldn't
It did
keep
leak
in.
online 2 weeks ago, and I was close, but I decided to stay pristine and fresh,
Pristine and fresh.
untouched.
Yikes.
Clean.
What about you, Dylan? Pass or fail?
I feel like there's a solid chance this gets a big old fail. But I would love to have a great, stupid, but good movie, So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not opposed to passing it, but it's got to prove it.
Gwen thinks it's gonna be a fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and quickly for myself, I've talked about on cast, so I don't need to. I love the Chucky franchise. I love them all because I think the first one's legitimately kind of scary, and then after that, it's kind of, bad horror, that's still alright, and then they were getting cheesy, but then they just embraced the cheese. Like I said, any movie with the title Seed or Bride of, you know what you're getting, so I'm actually expecting a pass for myself. I don't know the whole table, but I think it's going to be a really enjoyable time. I think we're going to get some laughs, and I think
Okay.
something like I Am Wrath that did pass is the greatest movie. No, but we had an entertaining experience.
Right.
I think that's what
what
we're
it's all
going to get.
about.
I think that's what we're going to get here. It's only an hour and a half,
Yeah.
so that's good to know. So
That is good.
yeah, so we are about to go watch it. For you, it's only been going to be a mere seconds, and we'll be back to talk about the Cult of Chucky.
Well, that's a new noise.
Yeah.
Is it?
Wasn't it doodly doodly last time?
Well, I feel like you do that.
You
Have
s-
I?
You've done it a couple times. But then you stopped, so now
Okay.
I started doing it.
And you stop.
So you made this weird noise.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. As you can see by the faces of a few, I don't think it was that enjoyable of experience, you know? We want a nice Halloween movie for October, and this is what we got. Emily, you wanna start off?
This was pretty awful. I'm not gonna lie, I was falling asleep. But yeah, it's pretty awful. I don't know what else I should say about it right now. Super cheesy. There was like a few laughs in the beginning, but that really kind of just went away after a while. It seemed really short, which is a positive, I guess.
Did it seem short?
Yeah, did it seem
Well, I guess
short?
I was falling
You
asleep,
were
so who
sleeping,
knows? Yeah, I don't know. Anybody have anything else to contribute other than that?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
What do you think, Taylor?
Like it was so bad that it was good for me.
Oh god. No.
You don't have to justify it. If you thought it was good, you can say it was good.
Like I'm not gonna say like it was 5 out of 5 good. I'm not gonna go that far, but we'll get to the ratings later. But I mean, for me, like it was bad that it was good. It was
bad that
it was bad and it's good in the same equivalency of like The Curse of Chucky. Like it's definitely nowhere near like the original for me, but I mean, it was very cool to see. Kind of like them going for different aspects. Like okay, here's like multiple Chucky dolls, and like here's like. I like seeing Andy full grown and having this kind of this,
Oh.
he's just kind of
Wow.
You like the doctor?
he had this weird kind of dynamic with like the head of Chucky, just kind of seeing them interact and like and just as brief as it was, like I don't know, I thought like, are we going very in depth here or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
spoilers for people. If you've seen this movie, great. You don't need to have seen this movie to keep continuing to watch or listen along. Honestly, don't waste your time, but
I thought it was very neat, as brief as it was, to see the dynamic between Andy and just the head of Chucky, and just like this is all Andy has. It's basically just this doll. That's all he has. Like he's failed at so many other things, like having a life and relationships, and so like here he just passes the joint to Chucky, and Chucky's still just up to his little shenanigans and stuff. And it was hard to tell really though where this was happening in the timeline. Like if this was happening like wow, like
Taylor's biggest concern.
like I was trying to figure out like okay, is Andy like is this after the events? Like is Andy like reminiscing about all this? Like how is Andy gonna connect to the story with Nika? Like I was trying to piece it all together, but then sure enough, when Andy's scrolling on his laptop and he sees like 2 dead at hospital, then you kind of know like okay, this is happening during. But I thought it was very cool to see Chucky just back.
Just
back at
just
it
back.
and
Back
like
again.
he was just everything you could ever hope for in a doll, I guess.
I will disagree. I don't think I want my doll to murder people.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a given. You don't want a doll that does that, but I mean, in the sense of like this, like the show. I mean, but I mean, I also feel like the directors, producers, whoever, somewhere on this show was a fan of Hannibal.
Yeah,
So-
hashtag save Hannibal. We started. Well, I'm not gonna start with that, but they did shout out with the show being canceled. So you know they wanted me over there.
Do you think they had to pay money just to be able to get the rights to say Hannibal?
No.
Oh. Okay.
The
Dylan
people who
Musk.
make Hannibal are of such a high class of writers that they're not going to waste their time with this garbage.
Yeah, not even one.
This was, I think without a doubt, like top 5 worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. This movie was complete garbage. It was so boring. Like it started out and maybe the first 10 minutes it was bearable, and after that it was just a real slog. Like that felt like a fucking year of my life that just rolled before my eyes.
You should have said.
Every character in this was just complete garbage. They don't make any sense. I don't even know what they're trying to go for here. Like, I'm trying to think of like what their intention was supposed to be with some of these characters, and I don't understand. All the acting for every single person was just horrible. Man, this was an awful movie. What else do I have to say? I think the fact that it was so like part of it, like in the insane asylum, which is most of this movie is just like blank white and like gray, and I feel like that's a reflection of how interesting this movie was. God, this is absolutely horrible.
You got me.
Yeah, and like the writing, like oh my god, like
what writing?
Oh,
I don't
yikes.
know.
Yeah.
You got me when you said in your life. I thought you were gonna say just this year, but
This was awful, dude. This was so
It was
bad.
painful.
yeah. Well, it's funny. We're coming near the end of the year, and if you're a long-time fan, last year we started the first annual Golden Geeks, and this year we were talking about adding a worst movie of the year category. And
This one's in the running.
this definitely, I thought about that the whole time while watching this. I'm a person that I was already talking about before, like, I unabashedly love the series. Yeah, there's been some bad ones, but usually the bad ones, like, that's where I would disagree with Curse of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, like, to me that was like, oh, okay, it's like they're going for the first one to be more horror and less comedy, but it's just, like, low budget and cheap, so it's like, okay, whatever. Where this didn't have any interest to it. Like, we've all brought up, I think the beginning was the most fun, because it's like, oh, I like this idea of, like, he has this, like, to set it up, it's taking place from the last one where Andy got mailed Chucky and he took him out, and he literally just has Chucky in a safe, and it's just his head cut off and he's all beat to shit, and he's just, like, torturing him, and that's what he does. Like, he goes on a date and the girl says, oh, like, I know who you are, and the date ends, and then he kind of blows it off, and he just goes home because, yeah, he's alone one. I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun. Like, that could have been a fun horror aspect of, I don't know where they could have gone with it, but something to do with, oh, this guy has nothing left in his life but this doll who's been, like, after him his whole life, right? So it's like, oh, kind of like some sort of, like, I don't know, buddy cop scenario. I don't know what I was thinking, but whatever that movie could have been was a lot more interesting. The asylum stuff is so boring. Like, we said this before, but with it being an hour and a half, I'm like, man, this is great. Like, this is going to fly by, because most of these movies we do are at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
This felt just as long, if not longer, than all those movies we've done before. This was so slow, and nothing really happened. Like, where we start and where we end, like, I felt like this could have been a short film. You know, like, you could have cut out so much stuff. I think what they're trying to go for with all the patients were similar to, like, we were talking about It before. Like, you look at all the kids and their fears, and it's all, like, represents something. It has, like, a deeper meaning. I think they're trying to do, like, deeper meaning with the mental asylum patients, but it just came off. I think it's a combination of, it was cheesy, it was bad writing, and bad acting for the most part. I don't usually like to call out actors, bar a few, but the guy who plays the doctor in this, maybe he's great in other stuff, it could just be this movie, but man, I was cringing anytime he was on screen. He plays, like, the psychiatrist for all the patients, and it was tough to watch his scenes with anybody.
Well, I think that's the thing in general. Like, I think about all these characters, like, every single character in this movie dies, or it's the two people who live at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, it feels like none of them, like, had any sort of connection to each other. Like, they were all off in their own movie doing their acting, and, like, it's like they recorded it all in different rooms at different times, and then they just, like, spliced it all together or something. Like, I mean, the doctor is probably the main culprit here, but I don't feel like anyone
Malcolm was awful.
in this, like,
yeah.
They were all really bad.
Yeah.
And before we talk anymore, I'll give a quick rundown if you're not gonna watch this movie. Like we said, the thing happens with Andy. The character from the last one goes to the insane asylum. And she kind of accepts that she's done the killing. Of course, Chucky comes back. It's revealed throughout the whole thing that Chucky can take multiple dolls and put himself into them, and then there's just all these other mental patients in the asylum, and they one by one get killed off, and the movie ends with Chucky going in the what was her name again?
Nika Pierce.
Nika Pierce, and then it just ends with her, like, Andy eventually gets to the asylum, he's there to save the day, and they just frame him. So it's just like the last movie where she got framed. They literally just framed Andy. And then
the old switcheroo, as they say.
And then Jennifer Tilly has a bunch of random scenes, and that's about it. Like, literally, you might think that I'm missing some stuff, and yeah, there's stuff like the doctor is, like, every cliche of bad doctor. Like, he abuses patients, it seems like, physically and sexually. He's writing a book behind their backs. He's, like, really incompetent. So, like, every bad doctor trope you can think of, and that's maybe the stuff that I'm missing, but that rundown I gave, that's just the movie. That's it. Like, nothing.
Well, it almost seemed like, thinking back on it, now it's like they had, like, all these, like, little ideas, and they put them all into one movie, but none of them really worked together or came out to one fluent story.
I I don't know if I can even support you on that. I just don't know if any of these were. I don't know how they were ideas. Like I've been trying to think of where they were going with it, but I can't think of anything. Like I don't understand what the point of the movie was, and even I said maybe they were trying to be more on the drama, like actual horror side with some comedy sprinkled in, but there was no tension in this movie.
Right. Well, I mean, I think, one thing, like the doctor, with all those things going on, it seemed, the doctor, with all these things going on, it seemed, like I kind of got the feeling that he was going to be in on it. He was connected with Chucky, and he was maybe setting some stuff up, but no, he wasn't. Like, there was nothing interesting about him. He really, at the end of the day, had no role other than being the same as any of the other characters that just got killed, right?
Yeah.
But they gave him so much time, and they had so much there.
He was always around.
But like, what was the point? Like, what was the point of giving him that much screen time? Like, I don't understand what the long-term purpose even was, because he didn't do anything for the plot.
No.
Like, he had the exact same roles like Malcolm did, or the nurse in this movie. Yet he had like 1,200 times as much screen time, right?
It just felt like that's where I come back to the short film thing. It felt like they said, hey, it's kind of like what we talked about with the Marvel series, like, hey, this has to be 13 episodes. It felt like the only way you can make a Chucky movie is it has to be an hour and a half. And it felt like every time something happened, the doctor was like, oh, what's going on? Like, this can't be. And, like, literally throughout the movie, like, multiple patients are dying, people are getting killed off, and they're just always like, oh, you guys, it's just all in your head, or, like, so, like, it just felt like a lot of spinning wheels to get us nowhere. And yeah, he didn't. How did he die? Oh, right. He just got kind of curb stomped his face, and it was like, I guess because he's a bad guy, but it's like, I don't know. The good guys got killed too, so that didn't really matter.
No, it didn't really matter at all.
Yeah, and it wasn't like her, the person that he was abusing. It's not like she actually killed him. It was Chucky, right? So it wasn't like a release there. Taylor, you have anything to say? You look pretty downtrodden on this.
I don't like how they changed it up with him being able to possess different things, because the whole story of Chucky
thought you just said you like multiple Chuckies.
I did, but going into the...
You like the idea.
I like the idea, but they twisted around on his backstory of where he can only go into the person that he reveals his name to.
Well, no, because remember he said he found a new spell on Voodoo.
Yeah, I feel like that's just taking a cheap way out, to be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
it's poor writing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole original setup of the first three movies was just him knowing that he was committed to Andy because that's who he told his name to, so he had to get into Andy as his body. And I think that was awesome, but now it's just, I like the idea of the multiple Chuckies, it's cool, but it was just so easily he was able to get into the girl's body and he could pierce. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I haven't...
It didn't really take much, did it?
No, just a few little notes here and there, but like, and that does happen in the original movies, but usually gets interrupted because it takes so long, and there's like lightning, thunderbolts, and everything. It's a weird experience, but that's the thing that like I was completely wrong. For months, I thought what was gonna happen was he was gonna have followers, because that's what happens with like Charles Manson or serial killer. Sometimes they get followers. I'm like, okay, they're gonna go into separate good guy dolls and then follow Chucky. But no, he was just splitting himself into multiple people and going into...
Creating Horcruxes.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Like, he has, like, all these dolls, and he can go into people, and that's where the actual title, to me, is, like, really deceiving. I think they just did it because it's a cool title, but that's not a cult. You putting yourself in, like, a bunch of dolls. That's not that would have been a group of Chucky.
I think you need more than, like, 3 people to have a cult.
Yeah, clone of Chucky, something like that. But, yeah, like, it's not a cult. Like, you're not, like... You can't follow yourself. Like, I guess you can, but it's not in the same sense of like a cult.
Fits the name Curse more a bit better, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe, but they already used that. That's the problem.
I feel like they could have done Clone of Chucky, but one of the reasons they did Cult of Chucky is because they were trying to make it seem more serious, right? And they did that a lot in this movie. They tried to make it really serious. Like,
they shouldn't.
There's some cheesiness, but I feel like a lot of the cheese wasn't really intentional. It was just like bad acting and stuff like that, because they really didn't. Like, obviously, everything Chucky himself does is, like, cheesy. It's just, like, the nature of the character.
Yeah.
But everything else with, like, all the actors, like, it's, like, they were trying to be very serious, and, I don't know, it didn't really work at all.
No.
They should have called it Chuck E. Cheese.
Nice.
I think there's a
they should have done that, and they should have made it, like, really cheesy, because then it could have actually been, like, bad good in my books. But they just tried so hard to make it serious, and then, like, those little moments where you did have some like humor or like Chucky's lines and stuff like that, I was just so bored at that point that I didn't really care, and they weren't really that good anyway. Like, I like the little Hannibal call out, of course. It's just because that's like what we've been doing on our podcast for 2 years.
Yeah.
But like I only like that for one strange little reason. It's not, and like I can't really think of another line he had that I thought was particularly like good.
No, and usually he's known for having like quite fun, quippy, sometimes clever dialogue. Where this didn't feel clever.
I think
at
the
all.
dialogue with the ghost lady was pretty clever because he
That
was
was
like,
alright.
"I'm an '80s doll standing in front of you," and she's like, "No, you're not.
Yeah, that was
I'm
alright.
gonna come back for you."
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That was the beginning of the movie, and like after that point, it just was like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing was funny after that point.
Nothing to keep you gripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have anything? Should I have some quick notes I can run down? But
Well, the soundtrack was also really bad. Just very,
generic.
very,
There
very
was a
generic. There was. Well, technically.
Yeah.
So I can't
Speaking.
buy it for
I
you.
found they tried to
Please
do
don't.
a lot of like really artsy shots and like scenes. So like when the glass shatters in the skylight above her, it's like
Right.
they slow mo the glass falling down,
And then
and
it
like
decapitates
they
her.
constantly do like cuts between like the Nika's face and like other stuff. Like it was they tried to do really artsy things and it just didn't work because it was really bad.
How about that really weird like commercial transition, or it was just like fade to
Yeah.
black for like
I
5
have that in my
seconds?
notes. It's weird because there's I can't remember. Does she get knocked unconscious or something like that? Is that what happened?
No, it's
No.
her, like Chucky gives her the glass to kill the doctor, and then she's just
Right.
like looking down at him with her classic like tilted head, weird face that she did the whole
I
movie,
forgot
and then it just cuts to black.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
So it doesn't even really make that much sense.
Well, no. If it's even worse, it fades back because the sound fades to black too. So it's like it's like regular random audio, and then it just suddenly fades to black, and the audio, and then it just like snaps, and she's crawling on the ground.
Yeah.
And that was a note I had. They many times I showed this up. We were watching it, but they many times have her just waking up in certain scenarios.
Oh, yeah, at
There's one
least
scene where
5
she
or 6
woke up
times,
3
probably.
times back to back, and she was like, "Oh, I'm dreaming" or something like that. But like that was sometimes all she did in scenes was like, "Huh," and it was just like it got really annoying after a while. It
Yeah.
got really pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to shout out? Like, I have
Keep
some.
going with your notes.
At the beginning, I just wrote that Andy says he has a few guns, and when he goes home, he has like he literally
He has a lot of guns.
Yeah, he has like the Punisher worth of
Looking
guns.
like Frank Castle.
Yeah, so that was alright. Like I said, the first little bit was alright. We talked about this a bit. They talked about like she went through a bunch of treatment. I didn't still buy putting this mass murder in a group of a bunch of people. I know people
Right.
go through traumas and they can like be helped, but this felt like, I don't know, too soon, and we didn't get to see her go through anything, and the doctor already feels like she's still kind of shady, so she's like, oh, we're just gonna throw her with a bunch of these people.
And then like someone dies and they just all put them back in their rooms and let them roam around still, and
Yeah.
even
And,
within
there's
the
a
blood,
couple
it
times
says Chucky
when, like,
did it.
they like go to check out I think it's the mother character, and then like Malcolm's just chilling in the room with them, just like hanging out. Like it's a very casual
Yeah.
workplace.
Well, like Taylor shot out when who was the last person that died?
The nurse.
Yeah, the nurse, and when they're all standing around, Malcolm is just like there with them.
Yeah.
He's a patient, but he's standing with all the staff, like, oh, what's going on?
Oh, that was the mom that died, and Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm was standing there. I thought you meant like the very
At
last
the-
character.
Oh, okay. I thought at the end though, where it was.
Oh, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, no, there's no. These people didn't have any restrictions, any no zones they couldn't go
So-
in.
Question, since I haven't seen the other Chuckies, do they ever do like any sort of like creative kills, like Alisar
Yeah,
or
it's
something?
100%.
Oh,
not as
okay.
not as like that, but there's some,
Right.
there's like I said, there's one person that dies from like a ruler, So
Yeah,
that not
but like more interesting than this movie because
more
there was
interesting or
nothing.
more funny.
There was just like a drill and like
I think-
knives.
I
It was
think
pretty boring.
The glass decapitation was probably the
Yeah,
highlight.
yeah, I forgot.
To
Yeah, that's
set-
a good one.
To set it up, there's
I liked that one just because of how stupid it was.
yeah. To set up, there is a patient in I don't know what sort of room. She's strapped down, and there's of course a glass window above her. And what does Chucky use again to break the
Compressed air.
compressed air? He throws it on the ground. It shoots up. It breaks the glass.
Yeah.
It starts to fall, and I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be classic impaler killer. But it literally decapitated her head right off. And yeah, that was like stupid fun, And that was the moments where it was like they really didn't decide what they were gonna be. They're going for maybe a bit more serious or a bit more just the horror vibe. But that kill was, you can't put that in a serious horror movie.
No.
Like it looked so funny. So
Oh, one scene as well that's really stupid is when Andy So the puppet that Andy sends to the insane asylum goes into his room, and he's gonna go kill Andy, but then Andy kind of straddles him back, and he goes into his tummy and his chest and like rips out a gun, and then he shoots that same spot 3 times before shooting him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no
He
sense.
shoots him in the head, it doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah, the logic didn't make sense.
What is the point of bringing a gun?
Yeah, because the whole...
Yeah, he really, because that didn't do anything. It was the stomp that did him in, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, and even then, though, at the beginning of the movie, they show you, like, Chucky's literally just a head, and he has him in a safe, and he's all chained up and everything, so to me, it's like, really nothing can kill him, because then why didn't he stomp on that Chucky's head, you know, so... Which does that mean...
He wanted to torment him and just occasionally burn him with a blowtorch.
I guess, which fair enough, he's done a lot of bad stuff, so does that mean that Chucky head is just still in Andy's house, then?
That's what I was thinking. I was
The
literally
OG
just
Chucky.
wondering
But I mean,
that.
he stopped locking him up, you know. He left him out there to hang out, so he's probably just
Yeah.
eating some cereal, watching TV. He's having a good time.
Eating some cereal.
Yeah. I just put this line in for Dylan because Dylan laughed. At one point, the patient just said, "Why?" I can't remember. Why did you burn your house? She's like, people keep asking me, why did I burn my house down or something like that. Do you remember that line?
Oh yeah, so yeah, someone's talking to Kneecap, and
It's like a group therapy session.
Yeah. Someone says to Kneecap, she's like asking Kneecap like, why did you kill those people? And some guy's like, why did you burn your family's house down? And she's like, why do you always bring that up?
Yeah, it's like that's why they're in there.
The thing is, like, it wasn't. I don't think it was meant to be like funny or
No.
cheesy. I think it was just like
The delivery.
really like they're like, oh, I don't know what this character should say here. Let's grab like a cookie cutter line from the internet and just like plump it in there because everyone's heard this line 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had the whole thing where we were talking about with mother, with the patient and everything like that. I was like, so Chucky gets delivered there and she takes it on as her child. Her case is that I guess she has killed her child and that's why she's there. I didn't really understand why, like, the doctor, which she's a little shady with the nurses, and he'd be like, she said to someone else, oh, she's with her baby. Why is the nurse playing along when she's not even around? Like, maybe there's some sort of therapy session they're doing with this patient, be like, okay, they're gonna make her think it's her baby, but when she's not around, she's like, oh, she's with her baby, she's putting her baby down. It was like, it just seemed, once again, a little off, and not in the sense of, like, a clever, like, oh, something's up, but just, like, people just felt dumb again, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing that's confusing. I can't quite tell if these people were locked up as a way to just lock them up and get rid of them, or if they're trying to help them and help them recover and deal with their issues.
Yeah,
like,
it didn't
can't
make a
quite
whole
tell.
lot of sense.
Yeah, so I don't. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why they would go along with that, unless they aren't trying to help them and they're just trying to lock them away.
Yeah. I just want to talk a bit more about the doctor, because we've talked about him a bit, but we haven't got so much into him, so, like...
Let's get into him.
The bad acting, like, alone, we'll put that aside, because that's just what it is. So, the whole movie, he comes off as kind of concerned. You don't really know, but like Dylan said, there's some shadiness.
Right.
At one point,
Maybe a little absent-minded.
Yeah, at one point, he gets Nika tied up, and he hypnotizes her, and then he's, like, revealing that, like, he, like, abuses her, and then he, like, puts these high heels on her, and, like, they're trying to... None of that was needed. The doctor could have just been a regular doctor, because nothing really came of it, but it was a strange thing, and then he just randomly reveals he's writing this book, but then it went back to right away of, like, oh, I'm helping you. Like, I don't know where they wanted to take it, and I was...
It's fucking baffling me, dude. I have no idea what their intention with this character or many other characters were. They just wanted people to kill off, and I don't understand why they gave him more screen time than other characters.
I was saying, like, it's like they had all these little, like, storylines, so it's like he's sexually abusing a patient type thing, like, and they just threw that in there, but they didn't go anywhere with it, so none of it made sense. There was all these, like, little, like, hints of things that they threw in, like multiple personalities and weird things like that, and even the mother character, when she breastfed the Chucky doll, was, like, bleeding, but nobody made a comment about the fact that she had blood on her. It's just, like, there's all these little things that, like, didn't get addressed or, like, carried on. They were just there. It made no sense.
Did you have any defense against the doctor? Because you're a pretty positive guy.
I thought, like, I didn't obviously see, like, the really issue with the acting part, because, I mean, I don't really, obviously, I never
do.
I never do, but, I mean, from the standpoint of him just being an overall bad doctor, I stand by that. He was just, I would not make him my family doctor. Let me tell you.
Oh, I don't think
I
so.
would hope not. Let's try it.
The fact that he is Jack the Ripper in Assassin's Creed Syndicate is just like.
I said he was just
boggling my
in
mind.
Jack the Ripper.
Oh, he's in it. I thought you said he was. So
No.
thank God.
Okay, how does that mean? You say you don't care about his acting, but you sound like you don't want him near your Assassin's Creed.
I don't.
Is it peer pressure or is there a reason within yourself?
He's just a bad doctor.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want him on my franchise. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like he's sick and tired of all these patients. He's really I want to read.
Tired of this patient.
He's sick and tired of the patients.
You want to read his book? Is that
I
what
want
you're
to
saying?
read his book. I feel like I'd be able to understand this character so much more if I could read it, because I get to see his perspective on everything.
Maybe the Blu-ray has.
Maybe I'm gonna
book.
have to get it. I want the digital copy because I mean this is a movie I'm gonna rewatch.
Are you actually
What?
gonna watch it?
I'm gonna rewatch it again.
I thought you even said this was not
Why?
even one of your favorite Chuckies.
It's not, but I mean
He
I
wants
still
to-
feel like I need to experience it again.
He wants to watch it again without us, so he can laugh every time he wants to laugh and not feel
Yeah.
judged.
Why would
that's
you-
the truth.
Why would you buy it if it's on Netflix right now? You can go home tonight and watch it again.
Because I own the first one, I feel like I should.
You don't own the rest of them.
You don't know two
Well,
or
I own
four.
that one, so I
But
want.
why
own
would
this
you
sequel
want to
too.
own this?
I don't know, I may hold off
If you
and
have
wait.
Netflix,
I'll wait.
Honestly, if
Go
you buy
watch
this
it
and own this in your house, I don't know if I can come over.
I don't know if you can be on the podcast.
Go watch it later this week again on Netflix. Then
Yeah.
you can decide.
I might even
whether
watch
you
it
need
tonight,
to
to be honest.
Watch
Watch
it.
it.
No,
Watch it. You watch as
watch
many
it.
times on Netflix. At one point, the nurse they're talking about. We forgot to mention this. So the person that adopts Chucky as her child, she like again kills her child, but she's killing Chucky in a weird like suffocating scene. Like that's not how you suffocate people with pillows. She would like put the pill on Chucky and then like lift it and go like,
Yeah.
like didn't
It's
make
very,
much sense.
Very bizarre.
But so anyways, Chucky's dead, and this is a show for you, Emily. The nurse is talking to her, and she has Chucky's shoe, and she's like, "Oh, you can't have those in here. You're not allowed to have laces." Even though the whole week she's had that Chucky doll with laces and much more. Once again, not much sense of what's going on in there, you know.
I didn't catch that. That's great.
Yeah.
You did
I
it? We
didn't
called that
catch
out. She's
that.
like,
Yeah, I
yeah, no
said it.
laces in the institute.
She's like, you can't have laces.
I
And then
caught
it's like
that,
she's
but-
carried this doll around with these freaking shoelaces for a whole week.
I mean, there's clearly no security at this place. Like, first
And
of all,
there's 5 employees.
first of all, the cop outside is a complete jackass.
That's in my notes.
And-
Next. He literally gets punched by a guy, and that's how he gets put in. Like a guy
Yeah.
gets past him, and that's it.
And then, like, he just wakes up later. He's like, "Oh, that's normal," and he just goes right back to his job.
And he gets
And then they
killed.
have that fucking in like the main desk. They have a drawer labeled sharps,
Yeah,
and it's not
sharps.
locked or anything. It's just
It doesn't-
left
it's
there.
not knives, it's not scissors, it's sharps.
And then what's the other thing? Oh yeah, well, first of all, they let a doll get sent into the building that had a gun inside of it, so clearly they don't check any of the
No.
things that are.
Also, like,
What else? Wasn't there something? Oh no! And then Jennifer Tilly, when she came in, she just had Chucky in her big
hot,
purse,
no, it
right?
wasn't even in her purse. She hid it behind like a table.
Yeah, it was like
behind a
And
table.
it's like,
She's like, oh,
Did
whatever.
you see
Alana
that?
wanted you to have something and took it. I was like, didn't anyone check? Especially because there's one. I know he's doing therapy with Chucky, but this one patient has a tie to Chucky. So what if that would like set her off or something like that? But this doctor was oblivious.
What does
to
the doctor
all
say? Or no, when Jennifer Tilly is like, Alice is dead, and the doctor's like,
that.
oh, I wish you
would've
told me that.
yeah.
Yikes.
And then when she leaves, he's just like, well, I don't know. Like he
Oh, well,
doesn't
it
do.
sucked, but you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the way that mother character gets killed off is Chucky literally puts his arm down her throat and
Oh.
rips his arm off. Taylor, for some reason you like would do that a couple times. There wasn't even that many gross kills in here.
I just, face stuff just irks me. Like, it's literally, the whole arm is down her throat, pulls something out. I don't know
didn't
what
like
that
the drill
was.
through the eye either.
No.
I don't
Oh,
like
that caught me
anything to
off
do with
guard.
eyes, but that wasn't even bad because it was so fake.
No. But the reason I have this one in my notes is so he does that, he rips something else off, and when everybody runs back, they just see Chucky's arm implanted in her mouth, right? So then when Nika is like, oh, she was murdered, the doctor's like, no, she clearly buried Chucky there and then went back and unburied him and brought him out and took his arm off, put it in her throat, and made it look like a suicide, or committed suicide, but made it look like Chucky did it. And like, and I think I missed a few things. The plan he laid out sounded impossible,
Oh, yeah.
or sounded like a lot of work for someone to do. Of like, burying him 6 feet under, went back, and then did all this, and then just killed. Like, she could easily killed herself. Like, like, that was the thing. That's where it did feel like, okay, maybe if he's in on it, I could understand that. But for him to actually be like, oh, this is fun, and I get it. It's
she
a
was
horror
under
movie.
surveillance too.
Yeah, well, no cam. Well, there is cameras, remember? But then someone deleted
the nurse
the
was
footage.
watching.
No, not that.
No, I don't think there were cameras. I think he was just like saying that, like,
on
yeah.
suicide watch. The
Well,
nurse
not-
said that when she took away the shoe.
Well, the nurse didn't do that good of a job.
And then it didn't really make sense because, like, there was no sound. Like, you didn't hear it, like, her scream or anything.
Well, she
and the
wanted to
nurse-
get killed, remember?
The nurse suddenly was like, and just, like, had this, like, feeling in her gut that, like, something was going on. She started to run down the hallway.
The force.
It made
The
no
force
sense. This
happens.
whole movie makes no sense. It was dumb.
Literally 2 times the doctor gets knocked out by a bottle. Both times he's talking to
Yeah.
Nika. Chucky knocks him in the head. I'm not sure, maybe that was intentional, but when at that point it happens, so it happens once and then happens again half an hour later. At that point I was just so frustrated with the movie. It's like, this is lazy, this is stupid. Maybe they planned that. But literally the same scene, Chucky just takes a bottle and knocks him unconscious. And it was like, what are we doing
I
here?
do like that because Mika's in a straitjacket and Chucky literally hands the bottle to her and says, now it's time to finish this, but she's in a frickin' straitjacket.
Yeah. No, that made no sense at all.
And this is my last thing I'll ask you, Taylor, because you're into the lore like me and you know the story. So I don't understand what is going on with Tiffany and Chucky anymore. So the last time as I took it, because I've only seen Chris once, but the big one was Bride of Chucky, that they're both trying to get in people. She realized that, like, she still wanted to be in a person. He realized, I don't want to be in a person. I love being a doll. They had a big fight. I think they literally like tried to like kill each other in it. And she becomes a human and he stays a doll, and they go their own separate ways until I guess he sends her that package of the arm, right? And that like grabs her son. But either way, they made like they had broken up, and like this is me just like trying to dissect this in non-negative way, be like, oh, this sucked, this sucked. So like from the only story thing I can pull out, what's going on, because I thought they were completely broken up and that was the whole thing, but now they're just kind of like back together. The movie ends with Chucky going in to a human body, which he didn't want to do. The past 2 movies he wanted to be a doll, right? So now he wants to be that, and he's with Jennifer Tilly and Tiffany now is putting herself into dolls. Like, I feel like even the hardcore fan of me is like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, it just feels like they're just throwing stuff at the wall.
I feel like, yes, she still loves him and cares about him, but at the same time I think she's terrified of him. And I think she's doing her own agenda, and maybe we'll see it in a sequel, like her own agenda.
You ready for that, Dylan?
No.
Kind of preparing for like something bad to happen, like, 'cause she put herself into this that doll version of herself, and I feel like even then when she's like, I missed Alice, it was nice having her around, and Chucky just laughed to himself. She looked like she was just like, she was upset and she was kind of scared of him, and I feel like she helps him because she's conflicted, because she loves him and she's scared of him.
So she should stop helping him. He could just stay dead. It's her.
He
helping
could,
him.
but I mean, if she stops helping him, I mean, he just comes back. I mean, that's.
I guess.
He never stops coming. He's always coming. So.
So you sound like Tobias.
Do you think their son is still alive?
Like that creature doll thing. That
Yeah,
they
but he
formed?
became a human. Remember?
Well,
at
like
one point?
twins. Remember?
Oh.
He became, because he didn't know if he was a girl or a boy, so he just went into a
Right, they
boy
have
and a
2
girl.
kids.
They had 2 kids.
So they imagine. So what do you? Okay, and before we get to our scores and any final things, where do you see the next one going? Just for Taylor, because I know you two want to see it go in the toilet. But where do you see the next one going?
I feel like it goes more open now, because like it was confined to the close quarters areas in the house and the asylum because she was in a wheelchair. But I feel like now, like, it's gonna be more mobile because they're not limited by, like, the main girl, like, just being in small areas with a wheelchair and just being in small.
He literally just said that twice, back to back.
I feel like it's gonna be more open. I feel like it's gonna.
It's like the Dr. Bottle scene. He just did that on the podcast.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be open with Andy. I feel like
He's framed now.
Well, I feel like not even gonna be framed. I feel like they're gonna go in there and be like, why does this doll have intestines spilling out? And like, why is
they never do that.
How did he get locked from the outside in this room when all these people are dead? Like,
because remember, he was put in there before they all died. I don't know.
They won't know, because yeah, they locked him in there before they all died, and they'll see all these people are dead and he's still locked in there, so they're gonna know something's up. He's gonna get out clean, free, clear.
You're giving them too much credit for having
Yeah.
brains.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it goes. I think obviously, if they do make another, which I think it's possible, they already made one straight to DVD, and I got a sequel. And I do think on Netflix it'll do well. Unfortunately, reviews like this might make people to watch it. But I think it'll just be Nika trying to get out of this body with the help of Andy, and hopefully we get to see more of Jennifer Tilly and the family and everything like that. But then it's kind of like the only problem about this whole opening them up to him just being in all these dolls. It's like you can't just drop that. Well, okay, they could just drop it. They probably will. But it's like you introduce this element that now he could just go in all these dolls. That kind of like takes it away from me. It's like he could just constantly be going into Chucky dolls, and that takes out anything. And I'm kind of at the point where I love the series. I'd like them maybe just to go back to roots and like reboot it. I'd like it to take a break, and then 5 years them just remake Child's Play in today's age. Go, if they're gonna make it a horror movie, go for like it being really scary. Like you look at Chucky in the back of that DVD, like he's never looking that scary in this movie. Like he's always still kind of clowning around doing scary stuff, but it's not scary. And
what were you scared of the 4-foot Chucky in this movie?
no, and you laughed every time he ran by, so that takes out all the fear. So
Because I laughed?
yeah.
If we watch it again, I won't laugh.
No.
I would involve him having to watch it again.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get to our final ratings and a score, and if you would recommend this. Emily, you can go first.
Oh God. How are we rating this? 1 is hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, 1. And a thumbs down. And I would never recommend this to anybody unless you want to have a nap. But no, it was terrible. It was terrible. There's nothing redeeming about this movie that would make anybody want to watch it. Yeah, okay, it's a new Chucky movie, so you know all these like 13, 14-year-old kids are going to be watching it this month on Netflix because they're going to want a horror movie, but it's bad. Don't watch it.
And Taylor.
It's really bad. There's nothing positive to say about it.
I will give it, only because it was so bad it was good, I'll give it a 3. And I'm conflicted about a thumbs up or thumbs down, you know? I mean, I don't know if
I bet you're not actually conflicted. You're gonna give it a thumbs up.
He's conflicted how to say it without getting judged once again.
I mean, I wouldn't force someone to watch it. I mean,
Well, I hope not.
The doctor.
Yeah, you gotta sit down and watch this.
I mean,
Oh God.
He's off the rails.
I mean, when I recommend this movie, I mean, I wouldn't recommend watching it by yourself, but you know, if you wanted to like watch this movie with me, I'd watch it with you.
So there you go. Hit us up
with Taylor Field. There you go.
We'll do a live stream.
We'll do a live stream. Like, what does a thumbs up signify? Like,
You
compared
recommend
like,
this.
that I recommended it,
Yeah.
and a thumbs
Well,
down.
technically, Netflix, I think it says the thumbs up is more like this, and the thumbs down is less like this. Like, because it's just not you like it, it's just like what they would recommend. So
I feel like because I watched it with you guys, I would go with a thumbs up. But if I watched it by myself,
Oh, put it on us.
What
Put
does
it
it
on
even-
us for a
what
thumbs
does it
up.
even
for
mean?
Chucky.
the experience of watching with other people where you laugh and can talk.
So if
about
you
it.
watch this movie alone, you think it's worse.
I may have critiqued it and just kind of thought I wasted my time a bit more, but I
Then how
enjoyed
can
it with
this-
you guys. So.
After those first
No,
30 minutes,
We weren't even fun to
nobody
watch it
laughed.
with. I didn't have fun watching that.
Don't. Your review is not about you enjoying watching.
Yeah, but when we
it's
got
about the movie.
Yeah, but when we got to that Hannibal one, I was like, oh, I can share with these guys.
No.
What thumb rating are you giving it?
Oh, I'll go. I'm gonna go with a down.
Oh wow. So a
That
pass.
was like even a half-hearted down. He didn't even fully put
No, I
his
think
foot
I've
down.
done that before. I think I've given something 3 stars
I
on thumbs
hate
down.
this.
Oh man.
I think he did that to Stanley Wexler. I think.
Sandy Wex.
I thought you guys loved that movie.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I liked a few moments, but it was 2
Better
hours.
than this. Better than this.
Alright, as for myself, you already know, but I'm giving this a clean 1 star. Yeah, pretty much exactly what Emily said. Like, there is no redeeming quality about this movie. As such, I will give it a thumbs down because I can't think of a single reason I'd recommend this to anyone that I care about, even people I don't care about. Yeah,
That's the
there's
only way. A torture
wish it
weapon.
was
like
worse.
there's there's a few 2-second fragments of this movie that I think aren't complete garbage. But other than that, yeah, it's an
What was
hour and
the
a half.
second one?
Well, I like the Hannibal call out,
The
and
Hot Topic comment, we didn't even say that. That one was
That was
funny.
good.
I'm not about the Hot Topic memes, so I didn't really like that one a whole lot. And then I liked when she was like, "Why do you always bring that up?" I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But the rest of the hour and a half was time I wish I could get back. I feel like I could have done something a lot more productive with my life, but here we are.
For the fans.
That's why we do this.
I do it for the fans, But fans, if you didn't actually watch it, don't go watch it. Please don't. Please go. Do anything. You could honestly sit there and just
watch the first Chucky.
Sit there and look at the wall, and I would recommend doing that over
They're
watching.
gonna put a bunch of what were they? The Friday the 13th on the Netflix later this month. So go watch those instead.
They used to be up there a long time ago. I remember I
There's a
watched
bunch
them.
coming up.
Thanks for that fun fact.
Go watch Arrested Development. That's what I've been watching again lately. Great show.
Watch Gerald's Game. Great Stephen King adaptation. Just came out on Friday. Gerald's Game. You should watch it. So you probably like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've said everything I need to say. The only thing I forgot to shout out was it's kind of a fun little thing. Is like you got to see. I forgot that the girl who plays Nika is Brad Dourif's daughter. So at the end when Chucky goes in her body, she's literally playing her dad. So you know what? That's the only good thing I can throw from that. Not even the performance is great. It's just that's kind of a fun full circle moment for a family. It's this role that made him famous. So that was a heartwarming moment. But other than that,
now she's in that role that kills her career.
This is her career.
Yeah.
This is her career. The movie, I was really, you heard the intro, I thought this was going to be at least fun. And even while I started not I'm like, I think this could at least be a 2. I was no way thinking this was going to be a 1. I was going in solid, this is going to be a pass for sure, because I'm going to have such a good time, whether it's good or whether it's bad good. And it was neither of those. I'm really disappointed. This is definitely a movie, if we do worst of 2017 for the Golden Geese, is definitely one we have to consider and talk about. And that's a shitty thing that we may have to recommend this to the other people who watch it just so they could vote and have an opinion on it. But yeah, if you don't have a podcast, don't watch this. If you want to watch a creepy doll one, go watch any of the other Child's Play, but specifically go watch the first one. It is one of the best horror movies, actually. It's a fun, really good, creepy, well-made movie.
Yeah.
This doesn't have any of that. So, and I was going to find out, Taylor, while you were looking up, because I'm pretty sure it had a pretty good Rotten Tomatoes score, but while I'm looking that up, you want to go shout out the links?
Well, all of you dolls and geeks and dolls and dollettes. Thank you. You saved me.
You're welcome.
That doesn't...
Guys and dolls. Better reference.
Anyway.
I don't know. When I said that earlier, Travis made a joke about it, so...
Where can they find us?
They can find us with that internet connection
Jesus
and maybe even a little bit of data. I don't know. Up to you. In the search bar, you can type in on Google. You can go to Facebook, and you can find us in the Facebook search bar. GeekVerse Space Podcast, because Facebook is where it counts. There's lots of stuff on there. It's lots of stuff happening. We got tons of posts, current update stuff. But you know what? You can even just go right to Google, like I said, and you can just type in GeekVerse Podcast on there, and it'll take you to so many links, like Travis's Twitter that he's posting tons of awesome.
Isn't it our
content.
Twitter?
It is our Twitter, but Travis usually is the only one who.
And what are you doing in our chair?
I'm so sorry. I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
It's
He's
Chucky.
talking so
I'm
fast.
so sorry.
Yeah, I just looked up, a nice 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
90.
This movie is a
I mean,
90%.
the new one?
Is
How many
that
people?
10 reviewers, so it could drop down.
It was
7.4
me. I'm the 10
average. Audience score from 430 or 454 people, 63% liked it, so...
Transformers chilling at 15%. Not
Yeah.
It's
great.
no cult of Chucky. Let me tell you.
I would watch this before Transformers, I'll say
Wow.
that. So, yeah. So you can find us on all those links you just shouted out. Podcast services, YouTube, Twitch, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you like what we do here, please like, share, or subscribe. That helps us out a lot, whether that can build the new shows or build our audience. And if you like what we do quite a bit, you can head over to Patreon and throw some spare change, because we got cool content up there.
Very
I'm just
cool.
rambling because this movie is frying my brain, but
Well, you posted the schedule too for this whole month.
if you go to Facebook, we got the entire schedule, finishing the Saw retrospective. If you go to Patreon too, you get the very first episode of the Marvel retrospective that we just recorded. So lots of great content everywhere. We will see you. I'm not sure when the next Netflix and fail will be, but I promise you, hopefully, it will not be like Cult of Chucky and it won't be boring.
Heidi ho. Ha ha.